Hey guys, it's John here. I have a question that came in this morning that I thought I should answer. It's actually a question that I have answered in other videos, but I think it deserves its own actual video to kind of put it in one spot that people can easily find this information. The question was, um, why did Jeshua go to the cross? Why did he allow himself to be taken? Why did he allow himself to be killed? And in modern Christianity, it is turned into a very esoteric topic because they're like the balance of our sin and all this stuff. And you need to look into the idea of what sin is. What is sin? People ask me all the time, what is sin? And sin is a interesting topic because sin simply means transgression from God. It means doing something against God, against you know, breaking the laws or rules of God. Now, in judgmental Christianity, that's the best way I can say that. Judgmental Christianity, it is the thing that's held against you. Now, when I think of sin, I think of sin as a transgression from God. So it's what is God? God is love. What is a transgression from God? Fear. So your fears are the sins of the world, right? And the interesting thing is, Jeshua went to the cross for a couple reasons. One, as a great demonstration of overcoming your fear. What an amazing thing to do, right? But more so, at the time of Jeshua going to the cross, Jeshua was becoming a rock star, a spiritual rock star. And people all, were crowds were gathering when he would show up. It was becoming very obvious that he was becoming the focus of what was being said, what was being done, and his job, his goal was to get the teachings out and not become famous per se. He didn't want to be set apart from anybody else. He did not want to be in any way, shape, or form set above anybody else, and so the greatest thing he could do was to give himself up, right? That was to let the teachings go on. So what did he do? He literally took the teachings, gave them to a bunch of disciples. And now what are the disciples? Disciples, don't think of them as anything esoteric. Think of them as like bishops. They were in charge of certain regions. And so each one of the disciples were given an area where they were supposed to go teach. And John ended up teaching in Turkey. But so all of these people were sent out to spread the teachings. Now he had to pass from the work so that the work could go on. That was the important part. Now, dying for our sins, our fears. So as he grew in fame, as he grew in popularity, people began to take notice. The Rome started taking notice. The Sanhedrin Council started taking notice. The people in authority started taking notice that this guy was getting a huge following. Well, they were really terrified that he was going to raise an army against them. And even the Essenes wanted him to raise an army. They actually, everybody talks about the Essenes, and some of the other writers out there talk about the Essenes being, Jesus was an Essene and all this stuff. And my memory is absolutely not, because they wanted him to step into the role of Messiah, and he wouldn't do it. And eventually what happened was they kind of shunned him, and one of their numbers, one called John the Essene, not me, but a different John, went on and led the first armed conflict against Rome, because they were zealots. They wanted this big uprising. Well, how do you get rid of an uprising? You get rid of the one that they're following. So Jeshua went to the cross for a couple of reasons. One was to give an example of how he could overcome his own fears and go there. And two was so that we, his followers, would not be persecuted because of him, right? By getting rid of him, the movement kind of falters. But if the information is already out there already, then you can't stop the information. The ideology grows, but the rock stars leave, right? So the idea of died for our sins. He died for so that we wouldn't have our fears of being persecuted and destroyed. That the fears of Rome and fears of the Sanhedrin Council of him growing into popularity. He died for that. So he died for the sins of man. He died out because of the fears of man and the fears that were going to be inflicted by man. And so by taking himself out of the equation, he was negating or denying that fear from coming into existence. Everybody wants to make this some big energetic, he took the sins of the world away and all this stuff. And he went to his death for our fears, for humans' fears. Either the fear of him growing into something more popular or the fear that was about to be inflicted upon those who were following him. And so that is why he went to the crucifix. And so twofold. Save us from ourselves, to show us his overcoming fear, and also on a third one, the idea of getting the information out there without him being a hindrance to it. Now, I often talk about many years ago how I was speaking all over the country doing my spiritual work, and everywhere I went, people were just so enthralled with the past life, they weren't hearing the message. So I stopped. I stopped teaching at metaphysical centers and things because people were too invested in who I was and not what I was saying. And I believe that has a lot to do with why Jeshua went to the cross. He went to the cross for that reason. He wanted the information out because that's what we needed to hear. We didn't need to have somebody to put up on a pedestal, and nor did he want to be put up on a pedestal. So I just wanted to share that this morning because the question came in, and I wanted to make sure it was very clear. And I will talk to you again soon. Have a great day. See ya. Bye.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you go down below it right now and join in the comments section. Add a comment. Comment on someone else's. Let's get this community talking about these topics, and let's get this information out there. Also, if you really like this or you really resonate with some of the things that I'm saying on this channel, make sure you like, subscribe, and share, because this information is not about us holding it to ourselves. It's about spreading it out so we can change the perspective of the world, so people can find their own truths, and we can create a more loving world. So don't forget, like, subscribe, share, and comment. Let's get this community really growing, and that'd be great. And thank you for watching, and thank you for all your support of me. It has been absolutely wonderful. Thank you.